Hey, what's going on, everyone? Just wanted to make a quick video to maybe helping you guys get a better Titan score and to show you guys a little Titan trick to where you can get endless Titan runs to maximize that score. And so I'm going to start out this way. I was going to just do kind of a really quick, just, not really saying much or even saying anything video. And then I started thinking, some of you guys have had other questions and different stuff like that. So maybe I can wrap this up with, a few things that maybe I can help you guys out with. And so me personally, just to start this out, they did make a formation setup here. And I just wanted to give you guys one of my tips. This was really set up for PvP, and I did make a PvP formation video, and some of you guys saw that I do have a Titan setup in my formations. Now, you don't have to use this just for PvP, and so I have basically an energy PvP, and then I have a physical PvP. But if you guys see here, I did make a Titan setup so I can jump in and out of here, switch things a lot faster, and so you don't have to use that formation just for PvP. And like I said, I'm just showing you guys I do have a Titan setup here. And then I don't have any drones on right now on purpose, just to make this video just a lot shorter here, especially on the Titan. And then you guys can see I have no technology on. And maybe at the very end, maybe I can show you guys what I would do if starting out as a newer player to medium player, and what I would max out and how I max my technology out, just personally how I do it, and maybe give you guys a little tip there too, since I'm doing this video. So I'm gonna go straight into the Titan challenge. If you guys look into the left top corner there, you see that there is still 2 runs. I've already did a couple of tests. I do have a test with the strong foe by itself, if that works on actual bosses, because technically strong foe is a little mini boss, and I think there's a lot of confusion if that technology actually works, and I don't know if anybody's ever really truly proven that. So I did make a video that you guys can watch on that one. But I'm going to jump into basically doing this, and maybe I can answer a couple of questions, especially if you're using the Conqoure Missles. And I get asked these questions a lot, even with all the old videos that I have up that you guys can watch. Maybe I can just explain a few things. Now, in the past here, arming the shield was always very important, because when you basically buffed the shield blades, you were getting a critical damage increase for 10 seconds until those blades come back. And everybody knew that the shield select was better than the wing gun. And then recently, just me poking around and stuff, I figured out that the wing gun was actually the better select. Now, I proved that on a Legion boss video you guys can go back to. And then I did do an interesting run where it did the shield did on a Titan seemingly get a higher score. But between us, the reason why I put that video up is I never want to be biased. I never want to act like any of these videos are set up. So I did that one in real time. It did show that the shield seemingly got a higher score, but you hear how I said that seemingly, because you can do different runs over and over and over, and 9 out of 10 times you guys are never going to get the same score. And so in that one video, it did show that the shield did do better, but technically it was basically even, guys. And so right there it's saying that the wing gun select is probably your better select. I know that sounds crazy the way I just said that. And it also shows that, okay, we'll say in a different term, that the wing gun and shield in that case is basically even. But I did a Legion boss one also that you guys can go back on about this topic. And every single time I used the wing gun over the shield, I was getting a higher score. And then I'm gonna do another video here on what I'm going to show you guys here too. Now you can see how you guys can select your skills, and forever everybody was just like, okay, I'm going to select, let's just say old school, you know, with the shield and your Conquer, there would be 3 selects here. Do you see I have the shield, the main gun, and the missile, and then you would do your missile, and then you would do your main gun. Then I started saying to myself, well, why don't you just super these? Why has nobody ever been just doing the super and skipping over just the actual select? And so my big thing now has been doing the super select, not just selecting, but skip over that. Do the super select. So I do want to do another Titan run between the wing gun and the shield with the super selects this time. But I'm telling you guys, after the last couple of updates, somewhere along the lines, the shield is not your better option on basically the Conquer. So not to make that long and drawn out, but you know, I still have players asking questions, and you know, the players that have seen the videos, they, you know, that's the thing about the videos. I like to be able to show. You can talk about it all you want, you can say this and that, but seeing is believing. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do right here for this Titan run here. And again, the whole video is about how can I get endless Titan runs, okay guys? But like I said, I was going to throw in just a bunch of just extra stuff here for you guys. And right here for the shield, and people are asking, well, what did you mean about buffing the shield? See how the blades are not spinning anymore? And so technically, I should be getting a 10% crit damage bonus. And again, in the past especially, that was worth a higher score than actually selecting the wing gun. And then, you know, just between us guys, most of all the wing guns in the game suck. The destroyer wing gun is probably the better of the wing gun. But here is a couple of other things, though, that, you know, I keep getting asked. And everybody's always asking, should I stay up on the core? Should I stay back? Should I be moving around? And maybe I can answer a few of these questions now. Now, when you get into your transformation, especially into the Conquer, you see all those flying bullets, and between me and you, those extra bullets really don't give you anything. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Now, I'm going to go all the way back, and I want you guys to look at the Conqoure Missile now. So each time one of those balls, do you see how the ball comes out? So when you see this ball, your missiles are going to be more effective than your transformation or coming up onto here. And you might be saying, well, how is that possible? So when the next ball comes out, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 missile bursts come out. Now that is more powerful than the main gun and the transformation being up on this core. Now if I keep staying up on the core, watch what happens. 1, 2, 3. So I only got 3 missile bursts to come out of here. And if I get the 5, I'm ultimately going to get a higher score because of those missile bursts versus being up here. There was once a time a player had been so convinced that he could fly up, come back down, fly up. Do you see how I'm timing this? And he was so convinced that the wing gun, you would get a higher score on the wing gun by timing it this way. And I've got a ton of these videos in the past, guys. I know they're kind of hard because I got a lot of videos up. But, you know, there for a little while, we were testing, seeing if this method was true. And technically, I did not get a higher score. I could not get a higher score doing this little flying in between, you know, the missile bursts. And again, they thought that the wing gun was doing better. Now, again, everybody's like, well, why don't you just go to the core? And I just explained that. Again, you know, those missile bursts are more important to come all the way down and to get those 5. And let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those missiles are so much more powerful than anything that you guys can do if you're using the Conqoure missiles. And so other weapons and other things like that, some of the players now, if you have a 5-star destroyer missile, that's being added. And if you have a 5-star wing gun with the destroyer, that would be probably the strongest of the wing guns. So there's 2 things that you can add The Conqoure main gun is basically going to be your strongest main gun on your Titan. And then recently, over past couple months, I've been testing out using hard rock with basically the Conqoure main gun and any transformer shield such as Megatron or Optimus Prime. That shield is mega powerful. You can get some extra life by using that, and so mixing and matching your pieces, you can do that, absolutely. But you guys got to remember, if you're mixing and matching your pieces, you got to make sure that you have the right pilot on. So you know, if you have more energy weapons, then you're going to want more energy weapon type pilot. But if you still have some of the Conqoure gear on, you're probably going to want to do maybe a more powerful energy pilot weapon, but also having the physical weapon. And you know, there's just so many ways that you can use these pilots, but you guys got to remember, you know, the pilots are just as crucial. Now here's the trick, guys. I got to the end of this. Now let's just say I hate this score, which of course I hate this score. There's no way I could save this score and stay maybe in first in Titan. And so I'm going to show you guys the trick here. Right when you get to here, and you cannot quit in between Titan, because if you quit, it's going to automatically give you your score. So you have to go to the end of the Titan. But here's the trick, guys, okay? You have to just close Wing Fighter out and then open Wing Fighter. Okay, and so the whole trick to this is again, you have to close out. Do not save it. Do not go forward. Close out Wing Fighter. And so watch what happens here, guys. Look at the top left-hand corner. I did not add the points, and I did not lose my move. And I can do this over and over and over and over, and I can switch in weapons. I can try different pilots. I can try different technologies. I can try different drones. I can do different combinations over and over and over. But again, you cannot quit in the middle of the Titan, and you have to go to the very end of it. And again, if you don't like what's happening, or just remember, even if you have a bad run in the middle of it, don't quit. Just wait till the end, log out of the game and log back in. And right here, you guys can have endless attempts basically with the Titan. And so hopefully this you know, gives other players more confidence that yes, you can do this, the ones that know about it but haven't done it, and then the ones that don't know about it. This is a really cool trick, again, because you guys can keep testing over and over, and then maybe you can squeeze that extra point, extra billion to even a trillion in one of these runs. And then of course, then you guys can do your quick hunt when you're happy with it throughout the rest of the week, and hopefully start maximizing your scores. Now, I did say that maybe I'd help you guys out with the technology here a little bit. And so, you know, back in the day, especially as a newer player, I was trying to figure out how this technology actually worked. Is it better to sprinkle it all over the place? And you know, you guys can accomplish somewhat the same goals by sprinkling here, sprinkling there. And you know, I'm not saying that none of that works. And you know, there is a sheet that is out there that says, you know, don't go past 75% here, don't go past 35% here, don't go. And you know, I used to use that sheet, and you know, it's not a horrible sheet by any means, so I'm not going to knock it. But one thing that I started, and this is just me personally, you guys don't have to do anything that I'm saying, but these are just my personal tips, and this is how I've been getting through the game. And you know, me playing and always testing and trying to figure things out, and how can I make it easier and more dummy proof for myself. And you heard how I said that, dummy proof for myself. That way I'm not sitting here clicking 19 million times, you know, trying to sprinkle this technology all over the place. But PvP, I'll start there real quick, guys. And you know, even as a new player, and you know, semi player and medium player, one thing that I started figuring out with PvP, just to give you guys a tip. No, you won't have to do what I'm telling you. But the three main elements to PvP in itself over all of the other technology, and I don't care what anybody says, you can argue, you can do whatever you want, you guys can go test this yourself, is your damage against aerial enemies. What are we doing? We're fighting against aerial enemies, which is the player. And then, of course, defense against the aerial enemy is the most crucial. And then the third piece over all of this, guys, and this is just me, okay? This is just me. I'm just giving you, these are my tips, is your armor base. So between the three of these, if you're trying to set up your PvP, and even newer players, let's say you have a little bit of tech, and let's say you're a mid player, I don't care what anybody says. You guys need to max these out 100%. Period. Okay? And you don't have to take my word for it. I don't really care. I have an old video that I put up of, basically being bullied and player etiquette video that I did a really long time ago. I was maybe somewhat mid player, a little bit under, and I started really messing with this technology, and I figured out that if I maxed these three areas out, especially, that I was beating players way easier, even bigger players, and I wasn't sprinkling it in to any of my weapons at all, believe it or not, guys. And I'm going to get into that portion, what I would do, okay? But right here, here's my PvP setup over anything else, all the weapons, I want these three maxed out, period, okay? And so now, I'm just going to go in a row. I'm not going to reset any of this to do any more. I'm just going to use this as examples. And so, the one thing, especially if you're a bigger player, and even a smaller player. Now, this is where you might sprinkle in as a smaller player, obviously, because you don't have as much tech. But if you're doing your Titan runs and you're wanting a bigger score, so right now the Titan can change between aerial and ground, and right now it is a ground Titan. And so having some of the ground defense on there, I'm going to max mine out just because I'm here, guys, but just to kind of explain it. And of course, what are we doing in Legion Boss, and what are we doing in Titan? We are doing damages against bosses. Now, if you don't have a lot of technology, this is where you can start maybe, evening it out just a little bit until you start getting more powerful and start getting, but these technologies are crucial if you're wanting to get a higher score in Titan. And believe it or not, this defense should be almost equal what you do to your offense. So let's just say you do 35 offense on boss and you do on ground. Me, in my case, I just showed you, I just leveled them out. But these should be pretty equal. Too much offense, you can lose points. Too much defense, you can lose points. And so on these ones specifically, you kind of want to even these out. I wouldn't say, hey, I want my offense to be way higher, or I want my defense necessarily. You can possibly go a little bit higher on your offense on your Titan and a little bit lower on your defense, but I was in the forums one day and I saw a player say, hey, I didn't realize how important the defense was, and I was doing what everybody else was doing. I was going really high on my offense and really low on my defense. And one day I said, well, I'm going to equal these out, and then I'm going to even max them out. And I was absolutely maximizing my Titan scores. I could not believe how crucial it really was to have these either equal or actually equal in most cases here. So that's what I would do. But here's kind of the important part. Let's just say you're able to max out the PvP, going backwards just a little bit, and you have your extra tech and stuff like that. And I'm going to use Conqoure as an example. Now, you heard what I said, destroyer missiles and wing gun is more powerful, and that goes for Thor too. So you do this just a little bit opposite on your energy ships and weapons, but I'm going to use Conqoure as an example, and this is this is what I learned, guys. This is what I learned, and how I started beating way bigger players and just doing way better with my technology, not sitting here clicking 19 zillion times. And this even goes for entry players. And again, you guys, I would max out that PvP, those first three, your armor and your defense and your offense, before any of your weapons. And you know, you don't have to take my word for it, but that's just me throwing a huge bone to everybody out there. And then if I was a Conqoure player, which, you know, I was pretty much my career in playing Wing Fighter. I'm a big Conqoure fan. I do have a fully done Thor ship now. And but if I started having technology and I didn't know what to do with it, and then I start saying, well, I'm going to sprinkle it here, sprinkle it there. I mean, for me, I think that's a huge mistake. I mean, what's the most crucial part of the technology to each one of these guys? That is going to be critical damage. So if I had technology, and I'm going to do this in the order as if, you know, hey, I have this technology, I have this technology. I would do my missile crit in full over any of the other. You didn't see me sprinkle anything, guys. I would do that in full. I would go to my main gun crit damage, do that one in full. What would be the other second, and sorry guys, I just clicked that on accident, and that's not a big deal though, but just don't pay attention to that one yet. But what would be more important? Well, crit damage is, you're hitting the hardest. That's why you're getting the hardest hits out of your crit damage. So that's why I would max my crit damage first. So what makes that hit harder and faster? Your missile crit rate. So that what I would do that one third. My fourth one would be going back to my main gun. I would go back to my... Now, I do have several videos, guys, that you can go back on. And I tested this technology like no other. And I went through every technology on just about every weapon to see which technology was best for each weapon. And most of it, again, if not all, was the crit damages, the critical rates. And it's a little jumpy between, you know, do I do the base or do I do the attack rate? So these ones I'm not too concerned with, but my biggest ones here, again, is doing your crit damages and your missile rate. If you're a Thor or basically a destroyer user, you might do this a little bit backwards and do, for destroyer, your destroyer missile first, okay, and then your Thor missile, kind of the same. But maybe put, instead of your main gun, you do your wing gun crit rates before your main gun, because the Thor and basically your wing gun, the destroyer main gun is your weakest. So you might do this a little bit opposite as the energy. But me personally, these crit damages and rates are absolutely the most crucial, and I won't sprinkle anything in, guys. I will literally max all of those out, and that's how I like to do my technology. I don't believe in the sprinkle method. I believe in maxing out your hardest hitting stuff first, which again is your critical damages, your crit rates, and then, you know, you can, you know, kind of pick and choose, but you can go back to my videos and see which technology does do better. Surprisingly, believe it or not, on here, I'm going to do this first and I'll go back to this. Let's just do missile crit rate. But surprisingly, on the main gun itself for Conqoure, one of the better technologies, and even though it didn't work in the past, and there was this big debate, does the attack rate work on the main gun? After, you know, several of the updates in the past here, they did get that right, and believe it or not, your main gun attack rate is one of your better for the Conqoure. And then if you notice what I'm doing, I'm going back and forth. Your missiles are probably always going to be your best weapon, period. So that's why you saw that I did my missiles first, got those all the way. Now I'm going to do my main gun. And then what do you guys think would be the most important again? And I just told you guys, and sorry about hitting that one tech. We'll just, you know, pretend that's not there. But of course, it's going to be your wing gun crit damage. Then it's going to be your wing gun crit rate. Then it's going to be either one that you guys really want. And then, you know, hopefully eventually you guys will be able to max this technology out here. And then your strong foe and your normal enemies. I don't even really know why they have this in here, guys. I don't know anybody that would put any technology onto these. And that's another reason why I wanted to do this technology with you guys at the end, and especially the new players. Do not waste your time on those at all. Put your technology where it counts. I'm showing you guys where I think it counts and how I figured this out and how I became a better player faster and was able to beat other players by the way I just showed you, to incrementally do your technology in bulk. In bulk meaning max that whole missile crit damage. Why wouldn't you? It just makes sense now that I'm just saying it out loud to you guys. That's your hardest hitting technology. Why wouldn't you do that? The harder it hits, the bigger the points. And then, like I said, that's just me. Now, you guys don't have to take my word for this. You guys don't have to do any of this. You can still sprinkle your stuff in there. But again, me personally, this is how I would do it. You guys, again, can go back to my past videos. I got, oh my goodness, I got a ton of going over individual technologies, seeing which one works better, which weapons are stronger, which, I mean, there really hasn't been a test I don't think I haven't done. If you guys think of anything, don't hesitate to ever leave a comment also. And then, like I said, guys, I would just leave these, do not put any technologies on these. And I think that was really the most important part for me to do this technology run at the end of this, if anybody is left watching this. But yeah, useless technology. I mean, do not put anything in there. Same with your defenses on that. And then if I have more technology, which I do your armor damage. You see that, guys? And then your ultimate base, ultimate charge. I mean, those are just for missions. They have no effect anywhere else into the game. And me personally, I wouldn't put any technology on that ever. I mean, it's not that important. I mean, maybe if you think that you need to get past level 120 and maybe that recharge is going to help. Maybe the strong foe, but you're going to reset your technologies to set up for missions. And between us, I've never used any of that technology to get through this game or the missions, guys. So, but hopefully I didn't talk your ear off too much. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit more on my side of the technology and maybe how you guys can get through this easier, not clicking your life away, and actually getting a higher score and playing against players a little bit easier here. So I really do appreciate you guys. If you have any questions, I mean, I'm always here. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. I'm no absolute pro at this game by any means, but if you guys have any ideas for other videos, like I was just saying, please let me know. And, you know, at the end of these, I always just say, guys, just have fun.